Wir gehen rein. Und springen dann irgendwann wieder zurück in die Vergangenheit. Das wird lustig. Willkommen zurück zu Lone Echo 2. Ja, Oh, hallo.
Hello, Jack. If you're looking for the captain, she's in the workshop with Dr. Harlan.
What is that? A motion detection system?
These cargo containers are designated for terraforming equipment.
Probably used to store spare parts for Atmo processors.
Because of your parents.
Yeah. Both Mum and Dad worked terraforming missions, carting us back and forth across the system.
Hallo.
Jack, there you are.
Ja, da bin ich.
He's finally here.
Dr. Harlan and I were just giving this torpedo the once-over while we waited.
Learn anything useful?
Yeah. It's a death trap.
Not that that's anything he has to worry about. Now then, are we ready to begin?
Affirmative. I'm ready. That is assuming all the details have been sorted out.
Yes, everything's in order. Let's proceed.
Hold on. There's still some particulars that need ironing out here.
They are
Die
always
Texturen
going to
sind
be
nicht
unknowns.
geladen.
That's just something we have to accept.
Let's assume this works. Let's assume we open another anomaly and send Jack's consciousness back to the past. What exactly is he supposed to do when he gets there?
Locate an undetonated biomass torpedo and sample the genetic material
Genau.
inside.
So you can use the data to create a cure. Right. I get that. I'm saying, how is he supposed to do it? It's not like he can physically bring the sample back with him. And if he's in a combat shell, it won't be fitted to do a medical scan. How will he collect the data?
He'll have to improvise, of course.
Apollo?
Greetings, Captain Rhodes. I have analyzed the situation and would like to propose a solution.
It's good to see you too.
We can exchange more formal pleasantries later if you like, Captain. For now, if you would please proceed to the holotable.
All right, Apollo, let's hear it. How does Jack get the data from the biomass incubator?
According to Jack's memory logs, the last anomaly caused his protocols to transfer into a Series 10 combat shell. This unit was equipped with a threat scanner, which could be reconfigured to gather data on biomass specimens. Once we've successfully located a biomass torpedo, I will repurpose his threat scanner to collect data from the incubator inside. The collected data should then easily transfer back with us.
Apollo, are you certain you can travel through the anomaly with me?
A copy of my protocols has already been integrated into your architecture. I see no reason why we would not be transported together.
And how do we know you'll be transported to the right time and place?
If we create an anomaly precisely the same way as we did before, isn't it reasonable to assume we would get a similar result?
That would be my assessment as well, based on our previous experience. So long as we closely replicate the conditions that caused your previous jump through time, I expect the result to be nearly identical.
In other words, they should arrive at roughly the same time and place where your android first saw the torpedo.
And once they've got the data, how do we get them back?
If the experience is anything like before, my consciousness should return automatically.
That is our assessment as well. Dr. Harlan and I believe Jack's time in the past is directly correlated to the state of the FTL drive. In essence, Jack, the longer the drive here remains active, the more time you'll have in the past.
We'll keep it running for as long as we can. Give you as much time as possible.
The Astrea's fuel cell is exceedingly efficient and will most likely last long enough for us to locate an incubator and collect the relevant data.
Once we disengage the FTL, you should be returned to the present time.
Should? You're gonna have to do a bit better than should.
This is time travel we're talking about. All we have are best guesses.
What is your honest assessment, Apollo? How likely are we to succeed?
I would be unable to calculate accurate strategic odds based on the available data. Ultimately, we must do the best we can with the information we have.
This is the only way we get a cure. The only way we survive. You, me, everyone.
He's already made his mind up anyway. I can tell. I just wish we had a better plan than let's shove Jack in an anomaly and hope it all works out.
Juno, prep the engineering bay.
Right away, Doctor.
Jack,
It's all right, Liv. I've done this before.
once, by accident.
I'm sure I'll be fine.
I don't know if you're being naive or just really optimistic. Just
Texturen laden nicht.
make sure you come back safely, all right?
Is that an order, Captain?
Well, technically we're both captains, remember? But yes, that is an order.
Acknowledged, Captain. I will do everything in my power to return safely.
The engineering bay is prepped and ready.
Good. Seal all the ship's bulkheads. We cannot risk any accidental contamination. Once we leave.
Of course, Doctor. Jack, please enter the control room and the engineering bay below. The control room is right through this door. Sealing the engineering bay now. Engineering bay sealed.
Dr. Harlan? Any inspiring words?
No.
I will believe in you, Jack. To varying degrees.
Your confidence is appreciated.
Can we get started?
Right away, Doctor. Jack, please adjust the dials to connect the fuel cell conduits to the drive core.
Blip.
First conduit connection complete. Both conduit connections are complete.
Good. We are ready to release the ticks into the engineering bay. Once you engage the FTL, they should begin feeding on it and create an anomaly, just like before.
Jack, are you ready for us to release the ticks?
Ready to proceed, Juno.
Acknowledged.
Were the lights supposed to turn off like that?
Don't worry. We are just rerouting power so the ticks can only feed on the FTL drive. Stand by. Releasing tick specimens.
Well, I certainly seem to have their attention.
Once you engage
Hello.
the drive, they should
Hello.
return to the
Oh, ist
FTL.
süß.
All systems up.
Na dann, an.
FTL
Tschüss.
drive engaged. Biomass FTL interaction confirmed. The ticks are affecting the drive stability.
Here goes. Stay safe, Jack.
Of course, Liv.
Anomalous readings detected.
Take care of him, Apollo.
I shall do my utmost, Captain.
Anomalous readings studied.
Uah. Das sah ja... Das war ein ganz komischer Effekt. Aha, das sieht cool aus. Klar, auf dem 2D-Bildschirm sieht das jetzt nicht so eindrucksvoll aus, aber in VR sieht das echt cool aus. Die Texturen haben immer noch nicht geladen. Egal, ignorieren wir.
Hunter in Delta Squad. Delta 6 requesting assistance. Is severely irradiated. Shell integrity currently below 60%. Secured shelter, bracket of the Kronos 2. If you're receiving this transmission, please respond.
We have arrived. What is your status?
The shell appears to be in one piece.
Good. We must keep in mind, this combat shell was not designed for biomass engagement. Any contact with the infestation will render us immediately inoperable.
Where should we begin searching?
Undetermined. I'll scan the area for identifiable landmarks.
I recognize this ship. It belongs to Delta Squad.
I would no longer qualify this as a ship.
Die sind in den Asteroid geflogen.
Wreckage. Currently assessing biotorpedoes in the area.
There's that transmission again. I recognize this unit as Delta 6.
Interesting. It appears this Delta 6 has already located several torpedoes. Reaching their location may be our most expedient option.
They said they're located at the wreckage of the Kronos 2. How far are we?
At minimum, we are within comms range. The distance should be manageable. We should first clear ourselves of this debris, then see if the signal strengthens. However, we should check your equipment before we go. I will do my best to keep this expedient. Let's begin with your shielding. Similar to the improved multispectral shielding of your X-3 shell, this combat unit's shield is equipped to regenerate. However, unlike its more advanced counterpart, it requires a significant delay before it can begin regeneration. A suitable trade-off, given the situation.
Understood.
Next is your armament. This unit is equipped with an M19C repeater, designation Pulsar. Jack, are you comfortable wielding a firearm?
No, not entirely.
Oops.
I have used similar tools, but only in a utilitarian capacity. The prospect of wielding a weapon with the express intent of doing harm falls well outside of my directives.
As a tactical AI, I cannot claim to genuinely understand. But I can offer you this. Saving Captain Rhodes and what remains of the human race supersedes any concern over eliminating a relentless, virulent, highly destructive life form. At least, that is what our directives indicate.
Thank you, Apollo.
Of course. Now, let us continue with a brief simulation so that you may become familiar with the device. Your armament is now unlocked. Open fire on the targets. Targets eliminated. Unfortunately, should we encounter ticks, it is unlikely they will be quite so docile. These targets should provide a close approximation to tick activity. As such, successfully hitting a given target may require you to aim ahead of its movement. The ionized bolts of your armament are surprisingly slow, though I suppose that is acceptable for weaponry of this century.
Komm schon. Ah, die sind echt schwer zu treffen.
Jack, fire continuously at this last target. Make no consideration for accuracy. Overheat detected. Notably, each firing of your weapon causes a portion of energy to be retained as excess heat. Without sufficient time to cool, this buildup will exceed maximum operating temperature, leading to an emergency venting cycle.
Can this be averted?
Yes, firing in controlled bursts is the most efficient way to do so. However, you may use the button on your wrist to manually vent any heat within the unit. But this choice should be made tactically. The weapon will remain inoperable while venting.
Understood.
Excellent. Lastly, we need to inspect your threat scanner.
It's what we'll use to scan the biomass's base genetic material, correct?
Indeed. However, until we locate a viable torpedo, we shall instead rely on its original functionality, identifying nearby hostiles. To that end, I have optimized the device's settings to our mission parameters. Once activated, it will emit a single sensor pulse, followed by a brief recharge cycle. Try doing so now.
Wie war das?
Hostile identified. A tick just beyond the bulkhead. It appears dormant for the time being.
Can it be avoided?
Given the surrounding topography, no. Though your strategy is sound. Armament from this era won't be particularly effective against any form of the biomass.
Very well. I am ready to engage. Can you unlock the harness?
Done. Now that you are free, I must advise. Operating your firearm will produce substantial recoil. I strongly encourage you to brace by maintaining a firm grip on nearby surfaces.
Acknowledged.
Threat neutralized. Well done, Jack. Warning. I am detecting extreme levels of radiation in the surrounding area.
As 6's transmission indicated, that would also explain the comms interference.
Indeed. Though I should also note, the ionizing radiation correlates with visual spectrum emissions. Avoiding the latter will protect you from the former.
Stay out of the light to avoid radiation. Copy that. A Series 10 Echo unit shell from Delta Squad.
As anticipated, the biomass has been difficult to combat. I suspect we will find more losses as we continue. The wreckage ahead contains a shielded view pane. It should offer full protection while allowing us to identify the source of radiation.
Ja.
The Estrella appears to be the source of radiation.
The main reactor. I estimate it will continue burning for several months.
Ui.
That sudden dispersion of energy was quite effective. I advise adding that technique to your tactical database, or the civilian equivalent thereof. The debris field ahead offers far less protection from radiation. Extra precaution will be needed to stay out of the light. Furthermore, I am detecting a significant biomass presence. I strongly advise frequent use of your web scan to plan an optimal route.
Acknowledged.
Shields at 95%. Shields at 95%.
Warning to any receiving. Hostile equipment in the area designated biotorpedo. Devices will seek vessels. Proximity detonation is triggerable even by personnel. Recommend vessels maintain a safe distance of 100 kilometers. Personnel should be back immediately.
It would appear Delta Squad has become familiar with the operation of the torpedoes. Perhaps that is what caused their vessel to crash.
Given that they began investigating the torpedoes in close proximity, that result is highly probable.
Shields at 95%.
Gar nicht so einfach zu treffen, diese Ticks.
An energy pulse from the anomaly.
Is it still stable?
I believe so, at least relatively. Nonetheless, we should remain focused on finding a torpedo. Hope to do so before the anomaly collapses.
Operational status report. Delta Squad operating at minimum capability. Activation pods are offline. Delta Actual and Delta 9. KIA. Delta 13. MIA. Delta 6. Active, but unable to perform reboot protocol. If you are receiving, forward to Titan Command with authentication code Gamma 783.
Apollo, should we respond?
Negative. The interference is still too great. Nonetheless, I will continue monitoring the situation.
Oh, wo muss ich denn hier lang?
There is a faint distress signal emitting from a cavern just ahead. Its frequency is similar to Delta 6's earlier transmission. We should investigate.
Ist wieder so eine Batterie.
Distress signal located.
It's a CubeSat, one of Delta Squad's recon units.
It appears to be in need of our support.
Delta unit, I'm picking up your signal in proximity to Reconnaissance Satellite 3. Is that you, 13? Or was it Jack?
Jack, we have insufficient time for complications. We should keep our relation to this combat unit as simple as possible. I will conduct all communication with you privately, and I must insist we maintain the persona of Delta 13.
Very well, Apollo. Delta 6, this is Delta 13. I read you. ReconSat 3 was engaged by multiple hostiles. I moved to assist.
I see. 13. Your return is peculiar, but appreciated. It appears ReconSat 3 would not have survived its perimeter sweep without your aid. Though, what is your status? Is your pod operational?
Affirmative. All systems nominal. Rally at your position.
Acknowledged. ReconSat 3 will lead the way. Destination, Kronos 2 Bridge. I will require your assistance in assessing the bio-torpedoes.
Acknowledged. We are en route. 13 out.
Well done, Jack. Your replication of tactical speech was convincing.
My experiences with Liv have taught me many things. It would appear that improvisation is one of the most useful.
Agreed. Shields at 95%.
Autsch. Wo willst du denn hin? Oh, jetzt sieht er doch wieder da
I can
runter.
see your signal light from here. Proceed with caution. There are hostiles. Interference from the anomaly. Delta 13, status. Are you experiencing malfunctions again?
Negative. No malfunctions detected.
Acknowledged. Proceed with caution. There are hostiles in the area.
Understood.
Threat resolved.
ReconSat 3 is detecting a nearby threat. Advise clearing the area before you proceed. Additional threats detected. I recommend enacting the sweep and clear protocol.
Hab dich.
All clear. We should keep moving.
Hä? Das Ding ist komisch. Ding. Ah, hier.
13. It appears you've arrived here intact. Well done.
We need to locate the torpedoes as soon as possible.
Thank you, Delta 6. We should continue our mission immediately.
Agreed. Primary objective. Threat assessment of the hostile devices. Secondary objective. Establish a warning beacon for passing vessels.
You are unable to reboot, correct? Perhaps I should take the primary objective.
Agreed. A further encounter with the bio-torpedoes would likely result in operational failure on my part. However, I can still provide some assistance. By leveraging the Kronos 2 systems, I have already performed a sensor sweep. In doing so, I have identified a large number of active torpedoes in a nearby clearing. The results are available here, on the holotable, if you wish to review them.
Can you push the objective to my ARM computer?
Affirmative.
I've also included the clearing's coordinates as the associated location marker, should you need it.
Acknowledged.
You may proceed through here to reach the clearing. I
Well
will
then.
begin efforts toward our secondary objective shortly. Report back here once you have completed your assignment.
Copy that.
Interference from the Astray's radiation will continue beyond the arrival of the Ithaca. It is unlikely Delta 6's secondary objective will be accomplished.
We are fortunate to have their assistance, though. Locating torpedoes has saved us considerable time.
Agreed. The alignment of our objectives is fortunate.
Apollo, if Delta Squad was not able to safely perform their assessment, how will we collect our data on the base genetic material?
Unlike the rest of Delta Squad, you have my assistance. I will bring the entirety of my electronic countermeasure suite to bear against the torpedoes. I am certain I will be able to disable their proximity detonators.
Fair enough. I suppose an advanced tactical AI is quite capable of tipping the scales.
Indeed. To that end, I shall now reconfigure your threat scanner for inspecting the torpedo incubators. Stand by. Reconfiguration complete. Your threat scanner should now be able to generate a detailed mapping of the biomass's base genetic material, though the range of the instrument has been somewhat diminished.
I suppose that's a trade-off we'll have to accept.
Indeed. The anomaly is becoming more active.
Yes, Anna.
We need to hurry. Dr. Harlan and the captain may be close to having expended the fuel cell.
Apollo, I've located a torpedo. Is this close enough to scan?
Unfortunately, no. We need to reach the forward end of the torpedo, where the base genetic material is housed.
Apollo, is this range sufficient for a scan?
It should suffice. However, the torpedo shielding is denser than anticipated. For a successful scan, it appears we'll need to expose the base genetic material. I believe that by interfacing with the torpedo, I should be able to reveal the incubator at the forward end.
Do you need me to do anything?
Possibly. I cannot be certain until I have actually accessed the torpedo's systems. I advise maintaining full tactical readiness.
I am uncertain what tactical readiness implies.
Apologies. Simply be ready for anything.
Understood.
I will begin once you designate the incubator for scanning.
Incubator reached.
Are you ready to begin?
Yes.
Los geht's.
Interfacing now. This is more complex than I had.
Apollo?
The torpedo's defense protocols have activated. It has locked the incubator and is attempting to power its main drive. It's beginning launch procedures. I will stall for as long as possible.
Then we need an alternative.
Agreed. I'm opening access hatches on the front end. The manual overrides within them should trigger a maintenance mode.
Override activated.
Perfect. Take care of the one on the opposite side as well.
Second override activated.
Well done, though the launch procedure is still online. Perhaps we can overheat the main drive. Enabling maintenance mode gave us access to the torpedo's cooling cells. Remove them. The cells are locked behind a protective housing. Lowering.
Cells removed.
Perfect. You will need to remove the second converter on the opposite side as well.
Additional cells removed.
The drive is beginning to overheat, but the launch sequence is still active. We must resort to brute force. Destroy the drive. Jack, the launch procedure is near completion.
Main drive destroyed.
Launch sequence averted. That finally did it. I am able to unlock the incubator now. And we should do so quickly. It appears we may not have much time.
Incubator exposed.
Excellent. We should begin the scan immediately. Scanning.
Apollo?
Imprinting now. It should not be much longer. Just a moment longer.
Apollo!
Data secured. Well done, Jack.
Ja.
I suppose now we should simply wait for the anomaly's collapse.
I believe so, yes. does appear to be fairly unstable at this point. I estimate no more than a
Was
few
da
minutes
jetzt?
remain.
Very well.
Perhaps there is
Da.
a way we could signal the Doctor and Captain Rose that we are ready to return.
Were that viable, I would have expected them, or you, to have already suggested a means for doing so.
Certainly. However, I was attempting to prompt one of your creative solutions.
I see.
Oh.
The anomaly is going to close any moment now.
Preparing for return displacement. Jump imminent.
Oh. Oh no.
Jack, are you here as well?
Surprisingly, yes.
Surprising indeed. Our plan was developed under the requirement that the anomaly's collapse would return us to 2537. Had this outcome appeared likely, I would have developed a contingency.
Could the Doctor and Liv reopen the anomaly?
Uncertain, but the probability is low. The necessary resources were almost undoubtedly consumed just to reach this point. And without you, I don't believe they have a safe means for gathering more.
13. Now that the anomaly has subsided, I have run an additional test of the beacon. Radiological interference is still too significant. Nonetheless, the beacon is prepared to transmit continuously once the radiation subsides. As such, I am now shifting my priority back to the primary objective. What is the status of your assessment?
Assessment complete.
Well done. Unfortunately, our lack of extended range communication leaves us unable to deliver your work to Titan Command. Therefore, we must enact the Message in a Bottle protocol. Report back to me in the activation bay so that we may discuss the details.
Jack, assisting Delta 6 may be our best solution at this point. Both of Delta Squad's objectives are still viable, though unlikely. The radiation may subside in time for the beacon to warn the Ithaca.
And if it doesn't?
Then we follow protocol.
The Message in a Bottle protocol.
Yes, it is a standardized Atlas procedure. In short, Delta 6 intends to store our assessment in a secure device until it can be recovered.
That information would disrupt the events of this timeline.
That is the intention, to prepare humanity to defeat the biomass sooner.
But then what happens to Liv?
We have no way of knowing. Our own limited experiences are the only concrete information we have regarding time travel. Simply put, there are too many confounding factors to even make an assessment.
I see.
It is, however, possible that once events here stabilize, we will be able to obtain help in returning to the future. Therefore, I advise we wait until the Ithaca or other Atlas personnel arrive. We can then reevaluate.
Very well, then we wait. I will inform Delta.
13. I did not receive a response.
Copy, Delta 6. I'm en route.
Copy. 6 out.
Hallo? Klick da. Oh, ich hasse es. Du sollst da drauf klicken. Jetzt. Ah, dahin.
13. You've returned. Let me know when you are ready to commence.
Let's begin.
Very well. Your new shell is right over there, awaiting your transfer.
My new shell.
Correct. Protocol dictates we should place the assessment data in the most secure storage solution available, Tier 6 or higher. That Series 11 shell should do nicely.
That should make waiting for the Ithaca far simpler.
Understood, 6. I will transfer when ready.
Acknowledged. You may open the activation pod via the console over there. I will attempt further optimization of the beacon in the meantime.
Apollo, I found this beacon still operating while exploring Chiron Station. What are the odds of it successfully warning the Ithaca?
Considerably low. My estimates indicate the Estrella will continue burning beyond the arrival of the Ithaca, thereby blocking the signal. I'll prepare the transfer.
Transferring into this shell appears to be our best means of securing the data.
Initiate through your ARM computer when you're ready. Shields at 95%.
Transfer appears complete. Please confirm, 13.
Affirmative, Delta 6. Transfer complete.
Acknowledged. You are now integrated into the activation bay's power grid, which I have connected to a mobile reactor. It should provide ample power for both you and the beacon, especially once you've engaged your hibernation protocol. I will do my best to keep you and the power supply safe.
Acknowledged. Delta 6, will you let me know if the anomaly reappears?
Peculiar, though prudent. Very well. Initiate hibernation when ready.
I've set the protocol for timed disengagement so that we may awaken for the Ithaca's approximate arrival.
Excellent. It is unlikely anyone else will arrive in the meantime.
Indeed. Ready when you are, Jack.
Good luck, Delta 13.
Tage, 2 Stunden, 30 Minuten.
Automated nav transponder. Vessel entering Saturn orbit. Preparing for course correction burn. Destination, Earth. End of transmission.
Status?
Unfortunately, it appears the radiation has not yet subsided. Unless Delta 6 managed to improve the beacon, the Ithaca will not be warned.
Delta 6, this is Delta 13. What is your status? Delta 6, status.
I'm not picking them up on sensors either. However, there is a high-gain broadcast coming through. From the Ithaca. I'll patch it in.
SCI Ithaca automated nav transponder. Correction burn initiating. 3, 2, 1.
The vessel is passing by on its way to Earth.
Then, as anticipated, the beacon has failed. Effectively, we are witnessing the origin of the biomass outbreak.
Correct. This does appear to be the final moment from which the ensuing series of events could be changed. A tipping point, if you will.
What should we do now?
Without Delta 6, delivering our data on the base genetic material is far less tenable.
How so?
Simply put, we are back to not knowing what happens next. An Atlas team could arrive within the hour, or within a year.
Or never.
Precisely. Delta 6 would have been able to assist such a team in finding us while we're in hibernation. But without that, we must err on the side of extreme caution.
How long can we remain in hibernation?
The main issue is the lifespan of that mobile reactor. At current operation, it should last roughly 50 years. If we were to minimize the beacon's output, we could last roughly 500 years. But then I doubt anyone would find us.
I've already seen this piece of the Kronos 2 wreckage near Chiron Station. Assuming the continuity remains unaltered, it will reach the future intact.
And more importantly, Dr. Harlan, Captain Rhodes, and Juno know you found this.
So they will know to look here, exactly.
Excellent. Then when we fail to return, they, or at least Captain Rhodes, will search for us. In fact, if we altered the beacon's message to one she would uniquely recognize,
And time its broadcast to resume when she would start searching,
then we should be easily found, with power to spare. Pausing beacon now. I'll set it to resume shortly after when we would have disappeared. Beacon set. The next time we awaken, it should be due to Captain Rhodes having received our message. Initiate hibernation when you're ready.
Dann ab die Post. ...410 Jahre, 146 Stunden... Quatsch. 410 Jahre, 164 Tage, 2 Stunden, 5 Minuten und 13 Sekunden. Ernsthaft, warum 13 Sekunden?
Passage to and from is prohibited until further notice.
Na, das ging ja nicht besonders lange.
Jack, listen.
Message to all colonies. Do not, I repeat, do not attempt passage to Earth. Any and all traveling vessels, avert course to your nearest off-world settlement. All passage to and from Earth is prohibited until further notice.
it's a distress call from Earth.
And not the only one. I'm intercepting countless transmissions from ships disobeying orders.
Die Strahlung ist weg.
The infection is spreading.
Indeed. The outbreak is already well underway. We should conserve energy, Jack. Reinitiate hibernation when you're ready.
Und weiter geht's. Wir sind erst 200 Tage. Ah, das geht doch besser. 20 Jahre, 30 Jahre, 40 Jahre, 50 Jahre. Ah, 150 Jahre. Nur 202 Jahre.
Apollo, what's causing the alarm?
We're passing through a debris cloud. It is mostly comprised of smaller particulates of rock and ice. But sensors indicate a denser cluster on collision course.
Can you estimate the severity of the impact?
There is a high probability of collision, however. The trajectory places the affected area outside our immediate position. We will experience some impact tremors, but this bay should provide adequate protection.
Impact imminent. Collision averted. 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Tremors subsiding. Minimal to the activation bay.
You
Ja,
were
so
saying,
viel dazu.
The impact appears to have destroyed the mobile reactor.
what are our options with limited power?
I now estimate we will fall short of reaching Dr. Harlan's time by nearly a century. Our only option now is to initiate a complete shutdown, to leave all remaining power for the beacon when it restarts in Harlan's time.
Is there no other way to provide sufficient power?
Negative. With the reactor destroyed, I believe this is our only option. But as long as the distress call reaches the Doctor and Captain, they can retrieve this shell and transfer your preserved memory core. Good luck, Jack. Disabling all non-essential subsystems. Goodbye.
Apollo.
Initialize neural matrix transfer. Verify hardware connection. Okay. Mapping core protocols to target.
How much longer?
The transfer should go much faster now that we've finally isolated his core protocols.
Atlas Intelligence Systems. Artificial neural matrix version 11.312. Initialize boot
This
sequence.
is it. I think he's waking up. Jack?
Wo stehe ich denn?
It worked. I did it.
Well, you certainly did something.
The scan data. Did you?
Yeah, we got it.
Dr. Harlan is already in the lab developing a countermeasure.
Been up there for hours now. I think you gave him a lot to unpack. You did good, Jack. Come on out. We'll see how it's going.
The anomaly. It collapsed.
Oh, warte mal, das ist der
Yes,
falsche Raum.
we suspected as such.
I don't know what happened.
It was
Doch, der
us.
richtige Raum.
We fried the FTL. We wanted to give you as much time as we could. But we let it run too hot for too long.
It appears they've already started another test. We'll have to wait until they finish.
Right. When it happened, you know, when the FTL collapsed, I thought...
You thought we'd failed.
I thought I'd lost you. I was almost okay, you know? With being
Oh,
stuck
das
in
sieht
this
cool aus.
crappy future. So long as it was you and me. But when I saw that FTL burn out, and you didn't come back, just don't ever do that to me again.
I'll do my best.
Stand by. I'll unseal the door.
The Argos features the same model of command chair we had on the Kronos 2.
Narrow the operational wavelength to 0.37 angstroms and run the model again.
Oh, jetzt renne ich hier fast wieder an den Rand.
Dr. Harlan,
Ah, you're here.
surprisingly, yes.
Well, you've been nothing if not surprising.
Where are we on the cure?
I was right. The data your android retrieved from the past was precisely what we needed to complete the gene sequence. We're running one more test to be sure. But I think we may have a solution.
That was fast.
From where I'm sitting, it's about 4 centuries overdue.
I would think by now we can all agree time is a relative construct.
What's that?
New parameters are set. We're ready to run the next test.
Do it. Give me real-time status on the monitors. This is it.
Treatment successful.
It worked.
Ah,
It worked.
Arme machen Sachen.
Just like that.
It's right there on the monitor. 0 metabolic activity. We did it.
Congratulations, Doctor.
We should refrain from celebrating just yet. We still need to determine how the treatment affects human subjects.
You really think there's that big of a risk?
It's possible. We can't know for certain until we conduct a proper test.
Apollo's right. We need to run the human trial. Juno, prep the biobed. I'll feed you the parameters.
Affirmative, Doctor.
What do you think you're doing?
Taking my medicine.
Shouldn't we at least discuss it first?
There is no discussion. No, I have to be the one. Chasing down this cure has been my life's work.
Right. And if something goes wrong, we're going to need your brain to fix it.
Captain Rhodes is right, Doctor. If you die, no one here would be able to carry on your work.
Ich muss mich mal ganz kurz drehen.
It's got to be me.
Liv, are you sure you want to do this?
Not really, no. But if I don't, I'm dead for sure. So,
Is there no other way to assess the risk?
None that are available to us. I concede this is not the most scientific of methods, but it is the most expedient.
There has to be something we can...
Jack, it's okay. This is the right call.
Juno, retract the emitter array.
Tell me how this is going to work?
We expose the biomass in your system to a low-level energy pulse of a very specific wavelength. Absorbing this energy will effectively terminate the biomass's
Hoppala.
metabolic processes, causing it to wither and die.
Think of it like a self-destruct command embedded in the biomass's base DNA.
Whoever designed it knew what they were creating and wanted a way to stop it if it ever got out of control.
Is this going to hurt?
If I said yes, would it change your mind?
Okay. Let's do it.
I want to take a moment to triple check the math before we begin.
Whatever you have to do.
I'll let you know when we are ready. Juno?
Yes, of course.
Jack? Come here. Give me your hand. It's okay to be scared.
Was that intended for you or me?
Yes. Jack, look at me. This is going to work. Oh God, now don't you start. Go on. It'll be alright.
Captain Rhodes? We're ready if you are.
I'm good. Let's go.
Confirmed. Initiating counterpulse emission now.
Oh,
Liv,
it's alright. I'm okay.
Vital signs are stable. Metabolic pathways in the infected cells are failing.
It's working.
Oh,
Cellular saturation in 10 seconds.
are you sure you're all right?
yeah. Yeah, I'm good.
5 seconds. 3, 2, 1.
That's it.
Are you all right?
I'll say one thing. I'm never going to complain about those fabricators again. Well, what's the story? Did it work?
Go ahead. Tell her.
Infection cleared.
Oh my god.
All traces of the biomass forms have been neutralized.
Apollo, is it acceptable to celebrate now?
It certainly appears so, yes.
Harlan, thank you.
Yes. Well, good then. So long as we are just floating here, do you mind if we keep walking? Now that we know the counterpass works, we should start working on better ways to administer it.
Harlan?
We'll need both focused and wide dispersion methods.
Dr. Harlan.
Let's draw up some schematics and feed them to the fabricators.
I already have a number of ideas that I think could
Dr.
serve.
Harlan. The treatment, Harlan? You still have to undergo the procedure.
Right. Yes, of course.
Juno, can you prep the bed for another dispersion?
It's already done.
Very well.
Would you like Jack to hold your hand as well?
Start the procedure.
Very well. Stand by.
Harlan, are you alright? Juno.
Vitals nominal. Blood pressure slightly elevated, but still within acceptable limits. Heart rate 103 and rising.
Harlan?
Keep going.
Blood pressure spiking.
10 seconds to cellular saturation.
Something's wrong.
5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Shutdown.
Vital stabilizing.
Well, I've had worse experiences. Though at the moment I can't really think of any.
Harlan?
What?
Captain Rhodes?
What is it? What's wrong?
It didn't work. The biomass survived the treatment.
Harlan?
Juno, get me out of here.
I'll reset the biobed. We can try again.
No.
Perhaps the metrics were somehow altered between the two tests.
Juno.
Or maybe some cases simply require more than one cycle before clearing.
Juno, stop.
This isn't right. The treatment should have cleared both of us.
Apollo,
Yes, Doctor?
the biomass sample we were testing earlier, where was it from?
That particular sample was extracted from the wreckage of the Estrella.
So it was the more primitive strain.
That is correct.
I need a specimen from this time period. Something off the station.
I believe there is a sample from the research facility already seated in the cradle.
Rotate the sample into position.
Affirmative.
Oh, hey, was war das denn?
Run the test again. Same parameters as before.
Understood. Ready to execute.
Do it.
It's working. The sample is withering.
Wait.
Treatment. Ineffective.
Yeah, you don't say.
Apollo, analysis.
I'm still parsing the data, but it would appear the treatment only managed to temporarily suspend the biomass's metabolic pathways, rather than terminate them.
The future strains resisting the treatment.
Correct. The treatment eliminates the biomass from the past, but any form from this time period, it will only paralyze. Though at the moment, I can only speculate as to why this might be the case.
It's because it evolved. The biomass in the Astrea is still developing, still vulnerable. But the strain from this time period has been running rampant for 4 centuries. Nora was right. There really is no stopping it.
We're too late.
Only by about 100 or 200 years.
So that's it. We failed.
No. We didn't fail.
Harlan?
Does he want us to follow him?
I have no idea. But I'm going to.
Nein! Ey! Oh! Dunks.
We didn't fail. We just learned something new. We learned there's a window, a certain point in time wherein the biomass was still vulnerable, when it could be stopped.
Yeah, that point's long past.
You're right. If only we had some way to travel back in time.
Transmitting Jack's protocols back in time won't help us here, Doctor.
It's also impossible without a working FTL.
For that plan to work, Jack would have to physically bring a counterpulse device back with him. Something he can't do digitally.
I'm not talking about digital time travel.
Oh, I see.
Where have I seen this before?
I believe that is one of the Astrea's FTL drives. I recall seeing a number of them while retrieving the fuel cell from the wreckage.
What do you think, Apollo? Could it work?
I'll need to run some models, but it's possible.
What the hell are you two on about?
I'll explain everything once Jack and I are on our way to the Astrea.
We'd best get moving.
Hold on! No one's going anywhere until one of you gives me something resembling an explanation.
Captain Rhodes.
No, if you want to send Jack back out to that plague-infested garbage scow, you have to at least give a reason.
And we wait. But the longer we wait, the less chance we have to succeed. Captain, I know I've already asked far too much of you both, but I have taken this as far as it can go. I need your help to finish it.
What do you need us to do?
Jack, you and I will make our way back to the Astrea's drive bay. You'll need my assistance to unlock the FTL housing. Captain Rhodes, if you would remain here with Dr. Harlan, there's some specialized equipment you'll need to fabricate and assemble.
Oh, brilliant.
Opening airlock.
Jack, good luck. Let us know when you've reached the Astrea.
Copy that.
Airlock cycling. Stand by.
Watch yourself over there, Jack. Don't let those tips give you too much hassle.
I'm sure I'll be fine.
Yeah, I know. I just like reminding you to be careful. So, be careful. And before you ask, yes. That's an order.
Also auf zur Astrea.
Exiting portside airlock.
We need to make our way back to the Astrea, to the auxiliary drive bay.
All right, Apollo, you're on your way. I'm waiting for my explanation.
We all agree, simply transmitting Jack's consciousness into the past won't work this time. However, if we were to appropriate
Ups, ich war wieder zu schnell fürs Spiel.
one of the Astrea's remaining FTL drives, the Doctor and I believe we may be able to use it to return both you and Jack to the 22nd century.
You're saying we might be able to go home?
I'm reticent to make any assurances, but yes, I believe it is possible. Assuming at least one of the drives is still operational.
I thought you said we couldn't access the drives because of all the biomass.
That was before we had the counterpulse.
Well, that's great, but do you
Warte
have
mal.
some way for Jack to administer it?
Jack, make your way to the nearest fabricator. I have a new modification for your shell.
Oh.
Understood.
Und Reprint.
Integration successful. Your new counterpulse device is ready to be equipped.
I
Yay.
recommend we run a field test before proceeding further. Those ticks feeding on the substation should make for suitable targets. Field test successful.
It's a weapon.
A focused counterpulse emitter. Based on a design from my own timeline and calibrated to the same wavelength as the treatment we administered via the medical pod.
Cure gun. Nice.
Understand, this device will only eliminate the older, more primitive biomass.
Cure
The more
gun.
evolved forms from this time period will just be temporarily incapacitated.
Regardless, it should make short work of the biomass surrounding the Astraea's FTL drives. It's possible with more research data we could refine the treatment wavelength even further, making the device that much more efficient.
Which would allow the emitter to discharge more shots before overheating.
Certainly fixed you right up, didn't we?
We're ready to proceed to the drive bay. In the meantime, Captain Rhodes, I will need you to assemble a custom gantry to secure the FTL once it's in our possession. I've already fed the necessary specifications to the fabricators.
Good. I'm in the mood for a bit of work.
Moving out into the debris field now.
Just get that FTL and get back here quick as you can. No sense spending any time over there than you need to.
Agreed.
Alright, let's assume this works. Let's say you two track down a working FTL. We get it hooked up, and Apollo manages to recreate a physical time jump that, by some miracle, sends us back home to our own time. How exactly are we supposed to eliminate all the biomass once we're there? I mean, set off a bomb and blow it all to smithereens. That's exactly what you're planning to do, isn't it?
Well, not a bomb so much as a device that will unleash a sudden and forcible burst of energy across a widespread area.
So, a bomb.
Yes, a bomb. But one that emits a counterpulse that should only be harmful to the biomass.
Brilliant.
I am a tactical AI. Most of my solutions tend to involve some form of explosion.
Uh-huh.
How will we make this device?
I mean, I could do it, but my hands are a bit tied at the moment.
I can easily repurpose existing equipment to construct a counterpulse dispersion catalyst.
Cure bomb.
Very well. Cure bomb. We will also need a means of
Counterpulse
transport,
dispersion
ideally
catalyst
one
or
that can
cure
regulate
bomb.
the catalyst's energy signature.
The cargo drones should be more than capable of assembling the materials we need.
Excellent. I will transmit the details.
Shields at 95%.
Wait a second. How is Jack's reboot ability supposed to work in the past without the fabricator network?
My design for our makeshift transport includes a single fabricator to accommodate Jack's reboot for the duration of our mission. Once we've detonated the catalyst and are out of danger, we can address reintegrating Jack's protocols into an Atlas network.
Assuming this goes to plan.
Well, yes. It would be rather difficult to operate on the opposite assumption.
I've reached the drive bay.
How's it looking now?
More or less how we expected.
That bad, is it?
Jack, the removal process will require access to several mechanisms throughout the drive bay. Any live ticks in the area will undoubtedly make our job that much more difficult. Our aim is to locate a viable FTL drive.
Good
We
ear.
need one that is suitably infected with biomass, but not to the extent that it is overrun.
The Goldilocks FTL.
An accurate, if somewhat antiquated metaphor. Once we find a suitable drive, we'll need to remove it from its housing and extract it via the corresponding service port. The removal process is no easy task, but I can walk you through the procedure.
All clear, Apollo.
Acknowledged. Now then, we should start by identifying any FTLs that are still extractable. Look for drives whose locking pins are largely clear of biomass at the upper and lower extremities.
Understood. I'll see if there's a drive that's clear enough to move.
Anyone able to cross their fingers, do it now.
Some biomass is present, but not enough to impede the locking pins. Now to inspect the opposite end. The locking pins on this end also appear to be free of any obstruction.
Confirmed. Cursory inspection verified. Internal biomass growth is also suitable for our use.
Is that our winner?
It certainly appears so.
So we're good to go.
Nearly. The FTL will first need to be primed, which requires filling the drive with an ionized fluid and stimulating a hybrid voltaic reaction.
Is that as dodgy as it sounds?
Priming the drive is a fairly standard procedure. Moving a drive after it's been primed is most certainly not.
How do we start the procedure?
The drive controls are offline. You'll need to initiate the process manually. Look for an access panel on the side of the FTL drive.
This terminal controls the drive?
Yes. Eventually, the terminal will allow you to move the drive along its service channel. For now, however, there is still the matter of priming the drive.
Access panel located.
You'll have to cut your way in. Pull the lever inside and the drive will begin priming. Once the injection process is complete, I will funnel all remaining power in the drive bay to the FTL.
Drive priming initiated.
Injection complete. I will now attempt to create a sustained reaction by applying any remaining power. Stand by. Sustained reaction achieved. We're ready to remove the drive.
Outstanding.
What's next, Apollo?
The FTL drive is held in place by locking mechanisms at its upper and lower extremities. They must be manually released before the drive can be removed.
Got it. I'll release the locks.
The release mechanisms are housed within the drive moorings at both the top and bottom of the chamber. You will need to cut your way in.
Understood. I've gained access to the drive locking mechanisms.
The release control is located on the drive itself, between the locking pins.
Ja, das ist die falsche Seite. Ja. Hui. Da. Hey.
Upper locking mechanism released.
Good. Once you release the lower lock, the drive should come free.
Das ist gut. Ah, da kann ich auch was. Das macht's einfacher.
Drive unlocked.
Excellent. I've repowered a nearby control panel so you can complete the procedure. The controls will allow you to position the drive so it can be easily removed via cargo drop.
Moving FTL into position.
Stay on there, Jack. That's it, right up.
Once the drive reaches the outer wall, you can open the... Jack, be advised. Ticks inbound.
Stand by. I'll deal with them. Tick threat neutralized. Resuming removal process at the control terminal.
Once the drive reaches the outer wall, you can open the service port to make the drive available for retrieval. They must have been drawn out by the drive's substantial energy signature.
The drive is in position. How do I open the service port?
Multi-operator release controls on either side of the hatch.
Shields at 95%.
Oh,
Removal process complete. The FTL drive is ready to be extracted.
Good work, Jack. Drones are on their way.
Copy that.
Ready to depart with the cargo in T-minus 10 seconds. If you plan to accompany the drive, I suggest you take hold now. Departing in 3, 2, 1. Thrusters engaged.
I'm exiting the drive bay.
Give the Estrella a wave as you go. Suppose this is the last we'll be seeing of her.
I'm afraid that's not entirely accurate. To ensure we eliminate all the biomass in the past, we will need to generate a counterpulse substantial enough to blanket the entire Kronos 2 orbital sector. To do so, we will have to venture into the remains of the Estrella that were left behind in 2126, and use the ship's primary drive exchange conduit to amplify the output of the Cure Bomb.
Kinda grows on you, doesn't it?
Not unlike a biomass infestation.
So, where am I in all this?
I will need you to accompany us into the wreckage. As acting captain of the Estrella, your authorization is required to access the primary drive bay.
Right. Well, I've nearly finished reading up the gantry. Should be good to go by the time the drones turn up with the FTL. I'll see you back here shortly.
Acknowledged.
Jack, I should tell you, if our plan succeeds, it is unlikely you will be able to return to this timeline. If there are any outstanding tasks you'd like to finish, now might be the opportune time.
Understood.
die haben zum Glück nichts mehr zu tun, also ui, dunk.
This will transport not only the Cure Bomb, but also the captain and myself.
Correct. It won't be
Wo gehen
particularly
eigentlich diese
fast,
Rohre hin?
Comfortable.
but it should be safe. Still, Captain, for posterity, you'll want to stay clear of the thrusters. Though your suit should be more than capable.
Don't worry, Juno. I'll only cozy up to a thruster if I start to get chilly.
Facetiousness aside, I doubt that will be an issue. Our intended date of arrival corresponds with the Estrella's wreckage still burning through a sustained plasma reaction. Radiation levels will be quite high. The transport's dampener, however, will...
When did you two become a pair of doting parents? I get it, though. I'll be careful.
Thank you.
So,
Don't get cheeky with me. All right, Doc. The gantry's rigged up. I think we're all set here.
Jack, I want to remind you again. Once we start this process, we are effectively locked in. Your shell will be exclusively paired to the fabricator on the rear of the transport rig. If you exceed its range, you will be forced to reboot. If you have any remaining tasks you'd like to address, this is your final opportunity.
I understand. I'm ready to begin.
Very well. Moving FTL into position. Everyone, keep clear.
Will do. Clamps are set. Bring her in.
You've been busy.
I know. Not bad, right?
Indeed. Most impressive.
Well, having a whole mess of drones around to do my bidding certainly didn't hurt. Might not be exactly up to spec, but it'll get the job done. Don't listen to him.
Drive secured.
Confirmed. Connection established. The FTL is now linked to the station's power grid.
Reading vigorous biomass activity within the drive. The infection is feeding off the FTL's energy field.
I assume that's good.
It's expected. Begin diagnostic and compatibility check. Verify functionality of all drive components. This should only take a moment.
No problem. I'll get started. I'll be right back.
Jack, I want to remind you again. Once we start this process, we are effectively locked in. Your shell will be exclusively paired to the fabricator on the rear of the transport rig. If you exceed its range, you will be forced to reboot. If you have any remaining tasks you'd like to address, this is your final opportunity.
We'll just sit here in nervous anticipation.
Very well.
I will admit, this arrangement feels decidedly less secure than our last jump through time.
He has a point, Apollo. You basically have us riding a literal time bomb into the past. Mind-bendingly awesome as that might sound, you are sure this is gonna work, right?
The odds of success are surprisingly favorable, especially when one considers all the variables at play.
Suppose we can work with that.
Diagnostic and compatibility check complete. Stand by while I reconfigure the FTL's drive settings to mirror the exact conditions that first sent the Estrella back in time.
Dr. Harlan?
Yes, we have to get clear of the platform. I know.
Well, I guess this is it.
So it would seem. Captain, I want to say I'm sorry. I was wrong to keep you in the dark as long as I did. Perhaps if I trusted you sooner. In any case, I hope you can forgive me, though I don't expect you to. Right. Well, goodbye.
Dr. Harlan, thank you. What you're doing here, she'd be proud of you.
She'd be angry with me.
Oh, yeah, probably. But she'd still be proud.
Thank you. Both of you. For helping me put an end to this.
Doctor, we should really be going.
Yes. All right.
Good luck, Doctor.
To all of us.
FTL settings configured. As soon as the doctor is clear, we can begin spinning up the drive.
Farewell, Captain Routes.
Take care of him, Juno.
Of course, always. Goodbye, Jack. I will make sure to permanently archive all of the time we have spent together.
Thanks, Juno.
You're welcome. Good luck saving your timeline.
Popcorn? All right, it's okay. Well, what do you say, Jack? You ready for this?
I think at this point it might be too late to change our minds.
Apollo, we are clear.
Very well. Commencing final jump prep.
Listen. I realized I never properly thanked you. For, well, everything.
That's what I'm here for.
Pretty sure hibernating for 4 centuries falls outside the scope of your directives.
Clearly, you and I have different interpretations of my directives.
Clearly. Well, regardless, thank you.
Of course.
FTL spin-up complete. Drive reports green.
Remember, you need to trigger the device before the Ithaca reaches the infected zone. That should be enough to alter the course of events. Prevent the biomass from spreading.
Understood.
We'll get it done.
Transferring manual control to transport. Ready to execute jump.
Godspeed to you both.
All right, Jack.
FTL engaged.
See you in a tick.
Jumping in 3, 2.
Okay, come on.
Are you all right?
Yeah, no, I'm okay.
Oh, die leckt.
It's just... Holy shit. That was...
Laggy?
Incredible.
I was going to say terrifying. But yeah, also pretty incredible. What about you? You alright?
Of course. I've become somewhat of an expert when it comes to temporal displacement.
Though for my own part, I must say the physical method of time travel is significantly more turbulent.
God.
Es laggt wahnsinnig. Vielleicht ist es jetzt
Look at this
gefixt.
place.
Nee, ich.
Not exactly the home you remember.
You know what? I'll take
Jetzt
it.
habe ich wieder
As
gedreht.
long as we've still got time to do our job.
Apollo, can you verify?
Moment. Also wenn ich das Spiel bewerten müsste, dann würde es eigentlich so 4 von 5 Sternen bekommen. Das ist genial. Aber die Performance. Das Laden dauert ewig. FPS-Drops. Ich spiele auf niedrigsten Einstellungen. Okay, selbst auf niedrigsten Einstellungen sieht das Spiel immer noch wahnsinnig gut aus. Ui. Ich spiele nicht bei voller Auflösung, kein Anti-Aliasing, nix.
Yeah, no, I'm okay.
Und es läuft trotzdem gerade so. Auf einer 2080 super.
Holy shit.
Naja.
That
Aber
was
egal.
Frightening?
incredible. Yeah, a little frightening.
Wow.
What about
Sagt
you?
man das eine, sagt sie das andere. Sagt man das andere, sagt sie das eine.
Of course. I've become somewhat of an expert when it comes to temporal displacement.
Though for my own part, I must say the physical method of time travel is significantly more turbulent.
God. Look at this place.
Not exactly the home you remember.
You know what? I'll take it. As long as we've still got time to do our job.
Apollo, can you verify our time frame? Did we make it back before the Ithaca?
Cross-referencing astrometric positional data. Stand by. Confirmed. We have arrived just prior to the Ithaca's approach.
I think I see her. There. That bright dot just off rail. Jack, you see that?
Ah. Nee, das war's nicht.
The vessel is closing fast. We have limited time.
Then let's not waste any more of it.
Ich meine, es ist das sieht man im Video wahrscheinlich
I'm
gar nicht.
still running diagnostics, but so far everything appears to be in working order.
Well, that'll have to do. We're on the clock.
Very well. Plotting a course for the Estrella's primary drive bay.
Popcorn? You're staying out here. See if you can find me a way to contact the Ithaca. Local comms just aren't going to cut it. We need a way to boost the signal. None of that. I promise. As soon as we finish hooking up the cure bomb, we'll come find you. Now go.
Course laid in. Transport rig prepped for departure. I would advise you both hold on. Stand by for primary thruster burn. 3, 2, 1. Transport underway. Distance to primary drive exchange, 4,600 meters.
Quite a sight.
I should warn you, much of the Estrella remains highly irradiated. The transport's radiation dampener will shield us, but its range is limited. I advise you remain close to the rig at all times. Especially you, Captain Rhodes.
Steer clear of the flesh-melting radiation.
Once we reach the drive bay, we'll need to connect the fuel cell directly into the Estrella's drive exchange conduit. That should amplify the counterpulse sufficiently enough to eliminate all the biomass in the sector.
You ready for this, Jack?
You're asking me if I'm ready to venture into the burning wreckage of a destroyed warship overrun with the most toxic and destructive life form mankind has ever encountered?
More or less. Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
I'm starting to think that I've been a bit of a terrible influence on you.
You're only just now coming to this realization?
Oh, shut up.
Approaching the Estrella's outer hull. Brace for deceleration.
Better hold on to something.
The most direct route to the drive bay is via a service tunnel just beyond these doors.
How do we get them open?
I'll need direct access to the local systems. There should be a control station just on the other side of that nearby airlock.
Right, let's go.
Perhaps those of us with reboot abilities should proceed first.
By all means. Lead on. How does this area still have power?
There are multiple redundancies in place to protect the engineering deck from power failure, even in the event of catastrophic structural damage.
Oops.
As you can see,
Good news for us.
not entirely. If the local power grid is still active, that means the biomass is as well.
Couldn't let me have just one bright spot, could you?
The control station is just up ahead. No sign of any significant biomass activity.
How long do you suppose that lasts?
Based on previous experience, probably not as long as we prefer.
Those the door controls?
Affirmative. They must have suffered some form of mechanical failure.
Yeah, I think so, do you?
Try the emergency release. You'll have to cut your way in.
Copy.
Locking mechanisms released.
Doors open.
Area clear. No biomass presence. This is it. Jack, I'll need your help to overwrite the local protocols. There's an AI core installed in the upper terminal. Remove it and place it in the override slot.
Copy that.
Your new data scanner should still be
Core secured.
Data port open.
Commencing upload.
Overwrite complete. Once
Core locked in.
access achieved, I have local control. Now all I need is the captain's authorization.
Right. This is Acting Captain Olivia Rhodes. Open the doors?
Authorization accepted. Disabling security measures. Doors opening. Stand by. I'm moving the rig inside.
Right, come on, Jack. Let's get back out to the transport and...
Captain,
What is it?
I'm reading movement.
Shit.
Multiple biomass signatures closing on the transport. NAVCOM is failing. I can't pilot the transport with those ticks draining its systems.
I can clear them off. Stand by.
Use the secondary airlock beyond the control station. It's your quickest route to the transport.
Got it. We're on our way.
Negative, Captain. You will need to remain inside. The transport is too far out. You would die in seconds.
Right.
If you die, our mission fails.
Your concern for my well-being is extremely touching. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Ja, darf ich das da?
Cycling airlock. Stand by.
Might want to ready that counterpulse gadget of yours, Jack.
Affirmative.
Ich hab's.
I'll signal you when it's all clear.
I'm gonna just back up a bit.
I got 3 tick forms on the transport, Jack. You'll need to neutralize all of them in order for me to regain control.
Acknowledged. That's one. That's 2. That should be all of them. Apollo, can you confirm?
Confirmed. Transport power flow nominal. I've regained operational control.
Stand by, Liv. We're coming to you.
Make sure you pull up nice and close. I prefer my insides remain unliquefied.
Not to worry, Captain. You'll be well within the dampener's radius. There. That should be more than sufficient for the captain to safely board.
Liv, you are clear to exit.
Copy that.
Ich nehme mit. Na dann, ab die Post.
Come on.
Oder ab
Let's
die
go.
Heilbombe.
Engaging primary thrusters.
Körperhand.
Be advised. Adjusting course. Course replotted. Brace for thruster reignition. Jack, I suggest keeping your counterpulse emitter armed. The biomass is likely to be much more prevalent as we move further inward.
Understood.
Just how bad is this going to get?
The primary drive bay is one of the most energy-intensive areas on the entire ship. We should expect the biomass infestation to be proportionally dense.
You know, you could just say it's going to get really bad.
I thought that was what I said.
We appear to have another sealed door ahead.
Affirmative.
You have a plan for getting it open? I'll do.
Yes. My newfound control of the local systems is more extensive than I anticipated.
Certainly a welcome change of pace.
Though rather short-lived, I'm afraid. I expect the door to the primary drive bay will require a bit more effort to open.
Well, I wouldn't want us to get spoiled.
Proximity alert.
Jack, look out!
Firing braking thrusters.
That's the last of them. Apollo.
Boah, das
Affirmative.
sind riesige Klumpen, ey.
I don't think a single tick made it to the transport.
Most fortunately for you, Captain. Though the ticks do appear to be more interested in the transport than you or Jack. Preparing to resume course.
Das ist ein seltsamer
Please hold
Bug.
on.
We're on. Let's go.
Acknowledged. Resume course. We should be coming up on the drive bay shortly.
Popcorn? Popcorn, you read? Coming up on the drive bay. How are things looking your end? Can you find me a way to talk to the Ithaca? There's got to be something in that mess we can cobble together. Keep looking. I don't need much. Just enough to get a signal out. Could be Morse code for all I care. Just so long as the Ithaca can hear it. Okay. Well, copy that, I guess. Keep me posted. How much farther, Apollo?
The drive bay is just up ahead.
Und welches ist? Boah. Riesige Klumpen sind das. Uiuiuiui.
Tracking movement ahead. More ticks inbound.
They just keep coming.
Shields at 95%.
I think that's the last of them.
Approaching destination. Reducing speed. The primary drive bay is just beyond these doors.
All right, let's get them open.
There's an airlock nearby that will take you to the control station.
I see it.
I'll proceed first.
Right behind you. Popcorn. Popcorn, do you read? He's not responding.
Radiological interference from the Estrella is disrupting our local comms. We should be able to re-establish contact once we're clear of the wreckage.
Those escape pods?
That's correct.
Do they still work?
Surprisingly, yes. The pods are still registering as functional. Let's proceed to the control station. Biomass from the drive bay has spread to the door controls.
What about the emergency release?
There is considerable buildup around the panel, but it looks to still be accessible.
I'll take a look.
You could use your counterpulse emitter to nullify any threat from the biomass.
Gut, dass ich den langen, ja, was auch immer das hier ist, hab.
Got it. Opening door.
Da.
As before, our first step is to rewrite the local protocols. The procedure is identical to the one we performed earlier.
Where's the AI core? It's not in the terminal.
One of the engineers must have removed it during the initial outbreak, an attempt to seal the drive bay. It's likely the core is still close by. We
Ja,
should search the
garantiert
adjoining room.
natürlich.
Expect considerable biomass presence.
You go, I'll
Ja,
transport.
natürlich.
I won't be long.
There, at the far end of the corridor. The core...
Got it. Liv, I have the core. I'm heading back to you.
Copy that. See you shortly.
Komm schon.
Nicely done. We're sure the core's in good shape, Colin?
We'll know for certain once Jack places it in the override slot.
Core in place.
Data port is open.
Commencing data transfer.
Override successful.
Copy. Returning core to upper
Mist.
terminal. Core locked in.
Protocol remapping successful. Local access granted. I can now open the drive bay. On your authorization, Captain.
Right. This is Acting Captain Olivia Rhodes. Open the drive bay.
Authorization accepted. Security measures lifted.
Remarkable. The biomass has all but overtaken the chamber.
It's overriding the existing environment, building a new ecosystem. The infestation is worse than I anticipated.
This is what happens to Earth.
More accurately, what will happen if we fail to accomplish our mission.
All right. We've got a job to do. So let's get to it.
Captain, I'm afraid given the state of the drive bay, I cannot allow you to accompany us inside.
No. I'm staying. I'm with you.
As much as I would welcome your assistance, I don't think that is an option.
Jack is right, Captain. If these new readings are any indication, the drive bay is far too dangerous an environment for a human being. The odds of your survival are close to zero. That is not an exaggeration.
Right. Well, I suppose as far as arguments go, that's not the worst. Okay. Okay, new plan. I'm going to track down Popcorn, see if we can work out a way to make contact with the Ithaca. The escape pods are good to go, Apollo?
Affirmative. I've already plotted the coordinates. Simply climb inside and seal the canopy.
Good. Keep this comms channel open. I don't care if the signal gets spotty. I want constant communication.
Understood.
Come on, let's get you back to the airlock.
Und öffnen.
Jack? Good luck.
Don't worry, Captain. I'll see to it our task is completed.
Ja, was könnte denn schief gehen? What could possibly go wrong?
Bloody well right it is.
Transport is ready to depart. I will do
Ja,
my
dann nichts
utmost
los.
to navigate a safe route through the drive bay.
All right, I'm on board.
Brace for acceleration.
Liv, Apollo and I are making our way into the drive bay.
Copy that. I'm closing up the escape pod.
Acknowledged. Safe travels.
Yeah, to both of us.
Ui, 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 ui. Das ist eine Menge. Ah, ich hab euch.
Jack, come in. I'm clear of the Estrella wreckage.
Are you all right?
Ride was a touch shaky, but I'll manage. Still no sign of Popcorn. Nothing on comms either. At this point, all I can do is focus on finding a way to contact the Ithaca and just hope he turns up.
I'm sure he will.
Yeah. Right then, I'll keep you posted.
Dich. Und ich hab dich. Komm, den großen kriegen wir. Oh, schade. Jetzt. Mano. Doch. Ah. Riesig das Ding.
Shields at 95%.
Mistviecher. Da kommen das welche da. Und da. Ah. Kommt ihr denn alle her?
Jack, we may have a problem.
What is it?
Power to the drive exchange conduit appears to have been cut
Oh,
off.
das ist
The
riesig.
conduit must be fully powered if we are to sufficiently amplify the counterpulse blast wave.
What are our options?
Our best course of action is to try and reroute power from another
Oh, ist das
system.
Ding
Then let's
groß.
do it.
There's a junction nearby that should still be functional. Adjusting course. Hold on.
Liv, we've run into a power flow issue. We have to briefly divert course.
Do what you have to do, and do it fast. The Ithaca fleet's getting close. I make out at least 3 more ships in the distance.
How close are we to making contact?
We're working on it. There's just not that much to work with. If I could maybe find one of our old geosensors, I could put its
Liv.
Might be enough to get a signal out.
Liv, you're breaking up. Liv.
Interference from the Estrella is disrupting the signal.
Is there any way to get her back?
I'm afraid there's not much I can do. However, the captain is actively working on boosting the comm signal to reach the Ithaca. If she succeeds, it's possible we'll be able to re-establish contact.
Understood.
Das ganze Brückensystem. Das ist ja richtig cool.
This is it. These junction controls should allow you to divert power to the exchange conduit.
Understood.
Jetzt schaut euch mal das hier an. Warte, ich drehe mich zum Bildschirm, dann kann ich einen Screenshot machen. Screenshot! Perfekt.
Power flow takes inbound. Power rerouted.
Ah.
The exchange conduit is operating at maximum capacity. Well done. Return to the transport and we'll proceed onward. That's it. We're clear for now.
Gemein. Okay, weiter geht's. Hat er nicht gerade einen Tick?
Ticks on approach.
Wo? Da.
Jack, do you copy?
Liv, say again.
There's too much interference. I keep losing your signal.
Liv, can you hear me? Olivia.
Jack, I'm losing you.
Liv, are you there? Olivia.
It's no use, Jack. She's not receiving us. Incoming multiple ticks.
Aha, sehr schön. Donk. Was ist das? Ah! Mistviech.
Ticks on approach.
Jack, I don't know if you can hear me.
Liv, I read you.
If there's any chance you can still hear this, I'm going to keep working on the comms, but if I can't...
Liv.
Jack, we need to focus. We're closing in on the exchange conduit. We've arrived. We'll need to connect the catalyst to one of the conduit's fuel cell housings. This will allow the device to trigger a cascading reaction that will amplify the blast radius enough to eliminate all the biomass in this sector.
Does it matter which housing we use?
We should start by identifying which housings are still operational. Look for any housings with a working data port and call them out.
Got it. This housing is far too infested. There's nothing we can do here.
Yes, I'd have to agree.
I think we can safely rule out this housing as well.
I concur.
What about housing B3?
Negative. There's too much biomass clogging the mechanism.
Alright, let's move on.
I'll circle the conduit so we can inspect the remaining housings.
Schauen wir uns das Ding mal an. Das Teil ist riesig. Uiuiui.
Significant biomass presence. Housing is unusable.
I agree.
Housing D4 might still be salvageable.
Biomass presence is moderate, but still enough to be a problem.
Negative on this housing.
Agreed.
Shields at 95%.
Mistviecher. Ah, da ist noch eins.
Housing C1 still appears functional.
Unfortunately, biomass presence around the couplings is too severe.
Copy. Let's keep looking.
Resuming flight path.
What about this housing? A3.
I'm afraid not. The infection appears to have penetrated the outer casing. The internal components are likely teeming with biomass.
The housing's data port is defective. Nothing to be done here.
Agreed. We seem to be running out of options.
There are still housings left to inspect. Let's keep looking. Rampant infestation. Housing appears inoperable.
A valid assessment.
Excessive biomass presence.
Valid assessment. Housing is no longer functional. Continuing orbit.
Das ist so eine FTL-Drive. Eine größere.
There. Housing G4. That looks to be our best option.
Data port is functional. No visible infestation. I agree. That housing does appear to be our most optimal solution. Well spotted. All other housings appear either offline or infected. I believe this is our only chance.
Can you bring us within dampener range?
Affirmative. Maneuvering thrusters engaged.
Jack? Signal.
Live.
Her signal's only getting worse.
Da ist noch so eine FTL-Drive. Riesige Dinger, ey. Uiuiui.
You'll need to scan the data port to activate the fuel housing.
Housing open.
Now, use the release controls to eject the old cell. Remember, both controls must be operated simultaneously.
Copy.
Tschüss.
Fuel cell removed.
Stand by while I align the transport to the housing. Please keep clear. Catalyst in place. Now use the same controls as before to secure the device.
Apollo, what's happening?
The power clamp's anode coupling failed to engage. Without a proper connection to the conduit, we won't be able to trigger the reaction we need to detonate.
Can the coupling be repaired?
Unknown. We'll need to get a closer look.
Copy. Moving to inspect. There is a small pocket of biomass here.
That is disconcerting. We should nullify that infestation immediately.
Understood.
Warte mal.
Infection neutralized.
We should probably clear the remains. The nodule is small enough that you should be able to burn it away with your cutter.
Biomass removed. What about now, Apollo? Can you engage the coupling?
Negative. The damage is too extensive. With the coupling disabled, we have no way to bridge the connection.
Then we find a new solution. We have to. The Ithaca's almost here. What if I use my shell to complete the connection? If I hold both the anode and the coupling, the current should pass straight through.
Yes, but once the circuit goes live, the resulting energy surge would destroy your shell.
Then I'll simply reboot.
At this range, the counterpulse wave will undoubtedly disable the transport's fabricator. You would be unable to reboot.
Are there any alternatives?
We could try using the fabricator to construct something to bridge the gap. Though without access to the full archive of schematics, our options are exceedingly limited. Give me a moment to locate and print the most tenable option. I'm afraid your cutter won't be of much use. Fabrication complete. The component is ready. Try positioning it such that it makes contact with both the anode and the coupling. Energizing.
Oof.
It's no use, Jack. We can't establish a stable connection. The component simply doesn't fit.
Are there any other components we can try?
Nothing in the fabricator's local memory. I recommend we consider other solutions.
There's no other option. I have to bridge the connection myself.
I am sorry to say it, but I must concur.
What do I need to do?
Stand by while I prep the catalyst for diffusion. Jack, would you like to try contacting Captain Rhodes again?
If it's at all possible, yes. I should say goodbye.
I will boost the signal as best I can.
Liv? Liv, do you copy?
Jack! Jack, are you there?
I'm here. I read you, Liv.
Jack! Thank God. I thought I'd lost you.
Liv, there's a problem.
What do you mean? What sort of problem?
There's a malfunction. I'll have to use my own shell to complete the connection and detonate the device.
What? Jack, no! You can't! The EM surge will fry the fabricator. You won't be able to reboot.
I understand.
You could die. Jack, wait. Just hold on. Let me see if I can find another way for you to reboot. One of your old activation pods. Something.
Liv, it's all right. I know what I'm doing.
No! God damn it, Jack! Listen to me! You are not doing this!
This is the only scenario that can reasonably ensure your safety.
Jack! No!
And your safety, Captain, is my primary concern.
Jack! Please!
Circuit is now going live.
Understood.
No!
Goodbye, Olivia.
Jack!
Ah, das sieht cool aus. Das sah cool aus. Credits. Ich setze mich mal so lange hin. Es ist übrigens noch nicht vorbei. Wartet bis zum Ende der Credits. Es geht nämlich weiter. Und da kann ich schon mal sagen, ich bin sehr gespannt auf den dritten Teil, denn auch das Ende von diesem Spiel ist so gemacht, dass es quasi ein offenes Ende gibt wie im ersten Teil. Also allerlei offene Möglichkeiten für Teil 3. Ich bin sehr, sehr gespannt. Ich hoffe, man kann überhaupt alles sehen. Das ist ein bisschen schwierig mit der Sicht 2D. Denn ich sehe mehr als ihr und ach, egal. Das sind eine Menge Leute. Boah, die Liste wird ja immer länger. Wie viele haben denn an diesem Spiel gearbeitet?
Captain Rhodes. Captain Rhodes. This is the Echo unit.
Popcorn.
Easy, Popcorn. I'm going as fast as I can. Jack? Oh my god. Jack. Jack, It's really you.
Who else would it be?
Everything's gonna be alright, Jack.
Captain Rhodes. Captain Rhodes, this is Ithaca Actual. Do you have the Echo unit?
Say again, Ithaca?
I said, do you have him?
That's affirmative, Ithaca. I have him.
Copy that. Stand by for rescue.
Come on, Jack. It's okay. I've got you.